back at it like, what the fuck's up? For all that garbage shit, we got the dump trucks. I got all my haters looking like dumb fucks. And if you agree, then holla out. That's what's
They gotta
up.
depend on us for something.
I
I
mean,
know, right?
quite honestly, so is life. So, never.
Unpredictable.
Yeah.
However it
You
goes.
hope, but you can't
Mine anyway.
predict. Yeah. But all right, folks, this is the episode. We're going to be talking about money. Money, 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 money. Money. Black money. Where the fuck is it? Who has it? Any of y'all got it?
The
The
elite
no, I'm about to tell you what the black money is. The black money,
corporations.
exactly. The black money is in like the corporations in the white neighborhoods because we refuse to
What
fuck
it
with
is.
each other outside of like, okay, yeah, my weed man, I rock with this motherfucker, I run with this dude. But like when it turns into a T-shirt or a grocery
CD.
There
or
you go.
I ain't even gonna get into CDs because like we each other fucked up about that too. Right?
Yep.
Because this dude ain't part of my camp. I ain't rocking with his motherfucking squad. I ain't about to pay for this shit. And that's a bad that like and I can't put that on every city. I could put it on Detroit for sure because I
Uh-huh.
know.
Okay. So
But
this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have this fucking discussion. We have some guests for the show today. I'm gonna go ahead
Yay.
and try to get them on the line. One is some random old school cat. I don't know how old he is. Maybe not my grandpa old, but old. But he was passing out cards in Walmart for some sort of computer repair service, and I swear to God, we sat there for like an hour with just the most random conversation
real
ever.
shit. Hold on, wait. Before you finish, hold on. Before you
Uh,
finish, them the motherfuckers we really need to listen to.
right,
Right.
right, right. That's why I wanted to have him on the
Because
show, man. He
there
spit so
was
much knowledge.
like think about it. Before E40, somebody had to give E40 that fucking knowledge to sell that motherfucking shit out of his trunk. Too
I
short, no
know.
one. You know what I'm saying? That was a hustle. And it
The
was
idea comes from being rejected.
right.
You
And
feel
it
me?
was
Get your stuff
and it
off.
was
Just
detrimental to
use
anything.
what you got. Ingenuity.
Right. It wasn't detrimental to anything. All it was okay, I want to get my craft out there.
Right.
Exactly.
So we gotta listen to those older heads. Those the ones that actually like if you paid attention, you look at people our age, a lot of the people came from like situations of like I was born in '84. Like I was born. What the fuck? Okay, my I got a bunch of dinging going on in my ear, but
Yeah.
it's like we came from that age group of like the crack era. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like
Right,
right
and that's
before
why
that,
I felt he would be great because he's a lot of the stuff that we talk about. It's only something that, yeah, our ancestors went through it, but we can only imagine it. He's lived through it. He's seen it. He's seen the rise. He's seen the fall, and
Right.
he wants to help us rise again. So yeah, I had to have him on the show. He was a really cool guy. And then we also have a management team. They are a couple and they manage, I don't know if it's just hip hop artists, but I know for sure they manage hip hop artists. They are the front runners is what they call themselves. Front runners entertainment.
and that's
Yeah.
what I remember hearing about them, and I think they
Uh-huh.
might hit me up at some point, but I wasn't really paying attention. I probably came across an email or some shit later. But I remember seeing the name. Like you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
see,
Gotcha.
this is why I hate this. The only thing I hate about this fucking Chromebook shit. It's
What
like
is it?
all of this shit start popping up. Like I just turned my like it loads up fast, but then all of this shit like if you weren't signed into a certain ID on the Chromebook and you switch back to it because I got my nieces have like profiles on here too.
Mm-hmm.
When I sign back in, a lot of times, man, shit go stupid.
All right. All right.
So
Good.
Hi, sir.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
We have our our first guest on the line. Do you
Yeah,
want to go ahead
we hear
and
you, bro. What's good
introduce
with you?
yourself
All right.
and your
It's
business?
popping. Yeah. I'm in here working, man. You already know.
That's what's up.
Already know.
So I told them a little bit about you. Do you want to go ahead
Okay.
and elaborate a little more? Just let them know that you have a management company. I don't know if you just do hip hop artists or if you're just any type of music.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and your company first.
Yeah.
All right. I'm part of a songwriting and production team called the FrontRunnaz, and we have a record label called FrontRunnaz Entertainment. As songwriters and producers, we've worked with everybody from Logic to Rick Ross, Meek Mill, Lecrae, Marsha Ambrosia, Tech Nine. We've been at this roughly around 6-7 years, and we just recently started our own imprint. And we have a hip hop artist rooming right now named Jumpman.
Jumpman.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I've been in hip hop for like I don't know, 20 years or more. So.
All right. Are you an artist yourself?
No. I used to be an artist back in the day. Now just songwriter and producer.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let me ask you this: as an artist speaking to an artist, what stopped you from being an artist?
I always had a love. I was always the type of artist that was writing and producing for myself. So, it was just a natural next step to start doing that for other people. You know what I mean? It was just a natural next step. It's like at a point in time, you got so much music. It's like, shoot, man, I could do this for somebody else. So, and I grew up in an era where there was, Eric Sermon, where there was, Lars Professor, and these great artists that became great producers. So I came out of that era, you know what I mean? So it was a natural progression.
Okay. I feel you. Like me, I don't know. It's like, I can produce and do all kind of other stuff, but from time to time, I still got my rapper bones that pop up out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So I just gotta go from time to time. I have to. I can't help it.
No, I feel you. I got that bone too. Even though I'm not a rapper, I just go from time to time on somebody else's track while I'm rapping along with them. But it works. We just love music. That's all that matters.
Right.
I'm trying to make a song. I'm gonna do that one.
All right. So
for you, Ed. So how long have you been in the management, songwriting, producing stage?
Well, actually, we don't do management. It's just like I said, it's just our label, our imprint, as well as, like I said, songwriting and production. And we've been
Okay.
Yeah, as the FrontRunnaz, we've been at this for like the last 7 years. And like I said, some songs that we have to our name is like 1-800 by Logic. We actually did the vocal production and vocals on that song, as well as we just got a platinum plaque for Young Thug's Wyclef Jean. We wrote on that, and our vocals are featured on that. And just been at it a long time. Tons of placements. Like I said, we work with Lecrae. We got one record called Money Dance with Rick Ross. And
wait. I gotta pause you for a hot second. My bad.
Like that.
He just mentioned. Wait. He just mentioned Lecrae. A lot of people ain't hip to Lecrae.
Yeah, Lecrae.
Nah,
Lecrae is low key dope as fuck. I love him. I really do.
I was really into when I was really into church and everything. You know what I'm saying? I was hip to Lecrae. Lecrae is dope.
No, he is, man. He definitely is, man. His new project is coming too. So.
I forgot who his homeboy is, but I ain't
agree.
Lecrae is dope.
Facts.
I definitely agree.
He can spit. His bars is crazy, man. He's definitely not just as a gospel artist, but as an MC. He's
just a dope artist. Period. He's just a dope artist.
He's underrated. He got lyrics for days, man. For days and days and days and days.
Yes, indeed. Like Lecrae is dope. I forgot it was another dude. Like, let me think. When I first got hip to Lecrae, it was probably about 2011, I think. Yeah. It was him and somebody that had a whole bunch of songs together. I can't remember dude's name, but they was both dope. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man.
Was they both from Houston?
I I don't remember where they was from. I just remember like somebody put me up on Lecrae, and then I heard a bunch of songs with Lecrae and this one particular other like gospel rapper, and I was just like, okay, they dope. Like I really don't listen to like gospel music as it is, but it was like gospel that like listening to them, I was like, okay, this kind of dope. Like you know what I'm saying?
And
Which made it made me look at things. If you had more incorporation of like let's say hip hop into the church, you would probably save a lot of more souls, and at least in that aspect. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, facts.
Like I
Right,
mean,
right.
you could bring in some younger guys and keep them off the street because they want to come in and they want to work with, like let's say a choir director that'll jump you in the studio or teach you how to make beats and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's a whole different conversation. We on the black business thing.
Yeah, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk
You
about it.
know?
So
Um,
our final guest is having, of course, technical difficulties. So he's gonna join us in a moment. But yeah, the topic of discussion today is black business. Does anyone else on the line own a business?
Yeah,
Has owned a business?
yeah,
I mean, I have.
we got a couple.
kind of.
Yeah, we got a couple of different businesses. We got a publishing company that we just started called Tempo Publishing, that controls our catalog and stuff, and we're signing more writers and producers to it, as well as we do sync and scoring through that company for Serena Williams
Mm-hmm.
clothing brand and stuff. And then we have like a real estate company. We're building
Mm-hmm.
a studio and media center out here in Houston. And yeah, so yeah, we got a couple of different businesses. Me and my partner, my actual partner, she's not here. It's my wife. We run all the companies together. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 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 So
Hold
yes,
on.
I would like to
Can I ask
know
a
more
question?
about that publishing company. I'm
Hold
actually,
on. Wait.
I
Can I ask him a question real quick?
yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, so when upstarting your company, right? What was the obstacle that really made you push towards like what I'm saying? I gotta get past this
Biggest.
obstacle to make this work.
What was the biggest obstacle? Really, it
Hmm.
was understanding, how to leverage owning your own company, because people figure that you just go out and incorporate. You get, an S corp or a C corp
Right.
or an
Yeah.
LLC, but it's more than that. The whole point of these businesses is to leverage the tax benefits associated with the
With it.
business. And
Exactly.
and a lot of people don't
Wow.
understand that. Yeah, and my wife, man, she spent the last like 6 months, putting together our corporate structure for all of our companies to, shelter our money, and make sure that we're getting all the tax credits that we could possibly get for our businesses and writing off as many expenses as we possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. And that's where you make. That's the biggest place to make money when you own your own business. Are those tax write-offs? That's
Fact,
how you make your money. That's
fact.
Yeah.
exactly it.
Well, see, that's why I asked the question because it's like, okay, we could talk about black business all day, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can understand. Like, I think we all understand the importance of black business and people supporting them.
Right. Right.
But when it comes down to starting one,
How
what you
does that
go,
happen?
nothing starts immediately. You see what I'm saying?
No, not at all.
Mhm.
Unless you say crack, and then
Not at all. There
it's
was
all
a
you
point I
you
wanted
Um,
to I
crack.
wanted to make on this show, and just I guess I make the same point every day, every episode, pretty much. But yeah, it's hard. It's a lot of obstacles. It's a lot of reading and information you have to know.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible. We
emphasis
don't
on the
have that.
reading part.
Right, right. Yeah, we don't have that cliche saying where there's a will, there's a way for nothing. As long as you have the willpower and you have the action, you can make it happen. Don't be scared by the big words or the books, the IRS, the man. No.
Yeah,
One
whoever.
big part of it is mentorship too. We're very fortunate that we have tons of mentors that, own own venture capital companies, that
Mhm.
own their businesses themselves, and can walk us through, like, when we're putting together the business plan for our record label and stuff, we had plenty of people that could point us to MBAs that could write our business plan. we had plenty of people that had, tax attorneys that we could talk to and figure out what was the best corporate structure for what we did. So mentorship is another huge part. And in the Black community, that's sorely lacking. We need to do a better job of sharing information and reaching out and supporting each other.
Yep.
Have an actual
and that's
perspective.
why go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying have an actual perspective.
Right. Yeah.
You have to actually tangibly have something to show someone, and not just what you're saying.
Yeah. Can't just talk the talk. For sure.
So, I have a question. So, how did you guys get this podcast started? This is a business, so how did you guys get this podcast started?
Oh, that's a Nibor answer.
So we, and I'm gonna put Ed in this too, even though he wasn't day one, he's still kind of day one. But yeah, I have been talking about it a lot with a lot of different people. I want to start a podcast. I got all these great ideas. I want to start a podcast. And one day I just woke up and was like, fuck it. I'm about to stop talking about it, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I had a friend of mine back home who was also into podcasting. He was going to Specs Howard back in Detroit. So he's going to be that end. Unfortunately, didn't work out. And then another homie of mine, Vic, I hit him up and he's like, yeah, I'm with it. And we just kind of went from there. Threw out a couple names. They picked one. Did a couple crappy test episodes. We still have issues damn near every episode. But we're still rocking, making it work. And it's just about, letting people speak their truth.
To me, it's kind of like it's kind of like the process of making an album. Like you spend all of this time. It's all about making it sound right, look right, feel right. You know what I'm saying? We went through the ups and downs. Like I left it. I actually left the podcast at
He
one point.
left.
I left because I kept getting put on because of too much noise. Cause I would be at work and like they would not, for whatever reason, they wouldn't move the show like 2 days later. Cause I think at first we was on like Thursdays, so I'm like, okay, just move it to Saturday, and I'd be like, okay, fuck the events at work or whatever. I'll take the events off, and then I could just go ahead and do the show. But they was just like, no, this don't work for me. So I was just like, okay, it was like I kept like most of the time I was on mute because there was so much noise going on in the background because I was at work. So
but you know what? I think the most important thing though for this podcast, even back home, I had my own hair salon within my home, and I started with I built my own station with IKEA furniture, but I was doubling my profits every month.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing again is to just stick to it. It's gonna be ups, it's gonna be downs. No matter what happens, keep going because eventually you're going to get to where you need to be.
Yeah, I can attest to that because I'm sitting inside my house. We have a salon in the basement. My aunt is probably just now finishing getting at work right now. So, and I say kudos to her because she was actually one of the few small businesses that was able to survive that 2008 recession that hit Michigan first before it hit anybody else. So we were actually going through it longer if you think about it. So
right.
For that.
all right, but do y'all realize what really caused the most damage during a lot of that? Like, and my mom was actually a victim of this one too.
Can I hold on, Ed? Hold that thought 1 second. Terrence, are you with us?
Yo.
Yeah,
Okay,
he right.
so I remember the last episode you were on with us. You said you started a business for your daughter.
Yeah, it's in the beginning stages though, so that's why as we talking about business, I'm just sitting back being more so quiet because I'm trying to listen and soak up some game. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay, got you. I got you. So
but yeah, it's just. But for her,
go ahead.
It's just a little simple. Her mom's a chef. Got a degree, culinary arts from the Atlanta Institute of Art.
Nice.
She was always been cooking. She loves to cook. kept telling me she wanted to start a business, she wanted to be a chef when she get older. And I just kept getting tired of hearing her say, when I get older, when I get older, when I get older. And now I've been instilling in them about not waiting, do what you can do now. You know, if you love it, don't wait to make it a job. So, you know, we just went ahead and I told her, you know, we'll come up with a name, you know. And she came up with the name Upside Down Backwards. Cool, we went ahead and got that name. So I told her, go ahead and, you know, create you a menu. She wrote out a little menu of stuff, of things she wanted to make. I had a homeboy who do graphics. You know, Measy, Melvin. Had Melvin do her menu, put her little logo on there, you know, had her come up with a slogan, and just doing little stuff like donuts, coffee, and delivering it to the office workers in the school, selling it to people in the neighborhood, just teaching entrepreneurship, just showing her that you ain't gotta wait until this whatever till you've grown, right? And then as you do more, do muffins. And as you do that, learn to create your own menu. She's 10 years old and she's super excited and she's doing, she has a ledger and she's doing budgeting. Okay, if the napkins cost $3 and it's 500 napkins, that means each napkin costs, and I got to incorporate that into the cost of the meal and little stuff like that. And she's figuring out she's enjoying it, and it's just making business normal to her. So, because eventually, as she gets older, which the most important thing to us about business that for whatever reason we don't like to talk about because we feel some type of way, the profit, right? How long before your profit? When can I start making money? Well, if I get her to understand all of the minutia early, by the time she gets to the point where she needs to focus on the profit, she'll already have that budgeting, expenses, overhead, loss, waste. And she's understanding that now. Like when she's making the pancakes, and it's like, okay, you done? Okay, well, how much pancake batter did you waste that was still in the bowl that
you could have used?
You know, that's waste. That's money. That's about 2 pancakes worth of batter right there. And now she's looking at things like that. So it's just getting her to understand it early. And when she's seen that bank account that said upside down backwards, just her seeing a piece of mail with a name that she came up with come to the house, like that, it just like shit just got real. Like she couldn't wait to take that to school and show it to her. I own my own business and I got money in my account. And my daddy said, and she like that's just the biggest thing for her. So that's just kind of what I'm at with it. I don't have really a lot of expertise. I do real estate. You know, I rent out houses as a independent landlord, but don't have a whole lot of business advice to give. But
shoot, you sound like you got it to me, man. It's like that's the biggest. That's the biggest.
That's a business right there.
You said teaching your children entrepreneurship early. That's the number one thing. It's like it's something that we don't do as a people. And you're right, man. There ain't no reason for her to wait till she's 25. If she learned it at 10, by the time she gets 25, she's gonna be a beast.
That's what I'm saying. So we learning both together as we go. So.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's the same for my daughter 9. That's funny because my daughter also wants to have a treat business where we're doing cookies and cheesecakes and biscottis and things like that. But that's the same thing. We talk about supply and demand. We talk about the accounting. You got to have the money. Who made that song? Shit, it takes money to make money. That's real talk. So you want to, get X, Y, and Z, but you also want to be able to set up for your future as well. Don't run and spend the first $5 you make on, whatever it is that you want. Save that so that way a little bit later down the line, you can put that towards whatever you need. Upgrade your stuff. Add another menu item because now you have the backing, you have the financial assets to do it with. You can buy the extra supplies. Don't just rush out. And that's something else I hear a lot of people say, I'm bad with saving. I don't know how to put money aside. I try and I can't do it. That's another thing that's big. As soon as we get money, it's gone.
Right out the door, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you talk about black money and where's the black dollar, I think from my perspective, from what I see, that seems to be the biggest obstacle that we run into is investing versus hustling. Right. And so many of us are hustling, which is what I'm trying to teach her to invest. Because when you hustle, you buy that CD for $5, you sell it for $10, and now you need that $5 to to pay a bill, to do whatever the
Yeah,
case
But
may be.
that's
right.
that's
So,
that's a
when
hustle.
you're
That's a
investing,
hustle. That's an investment type of hustle.
but
But and
You
yet
know?
that's what I was gonna say. You have to be. I think
Right.
that's the problem. People are too worried about hustling when they should be one and the same. You have to hustle and invest what you make off that
so
hustle
let
and
me
hustle
clarify.
some
Let me
more.
clarify real quick.
You
Let
know,
me
the
let me
hustle is what gets you what
no
you
no no no
need, but
no.
you
Let
have to
me
be smart with it.
clarify what I'm saying in the
Okay.
terminology I'm using, because I'm speaking as if we all understand what I'm saying and we're not. So yes, hustle.
No,
The word hustle
might have missed something there.
has many different definitions. We talking about hustle. You could be just talking about the will to hustle the product that you're investing in,
Right.
right? But when
Right,
I'm
right.
talking about hustling, what I'm saying is I look at investing more as a long-term commitment. I'm going to buy
Gotcha.
this stock and I'm going to sit on it for 2 years, and
Mm.
I'm not just going to sell it as soon as this $23 stock is worth 46. I'm going to
Right.
Right.
sit on this $23
Oh
stock
no, that's the
and buy
that's
more,
the
and I'm investing. I have time. Whereas most people, when you're hustling, you don't have time. You're selling these $20
Mm.
boys, and you need this money back because a bill is due. You don't have
Hmm.
time to you got to spin your re-up. So when
Yeah.
I
I
say
mean, like
Right.
hustling, that's what
you
I'm
say,
talking about.
the funny
You
part
really
is,
don't have
I'm
you
gonna
need
say
that.
this,
Yeah, that profit is
people
needed
watch,
immediately.
people watch the investments like they watch basketball. So it's like, okay, let's say, like, okay, I'm gonna use the Pistons as an example, right? Because this year they've been shit, right? Kinda. So they won, like, let's say, like two or three, and then they lost like six in a row, right?
Yeah.
But then now they're trending up again.
Mhm.
Like in the last 5 games, I think they won like four or something like that. So it's like, okay, that's kind of how you look at the stock market. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna do the stock market, that's how you gotta look at it because it's iffy as fuck.
And see, the
Now, if,
Pistons, the analogy that they're a perfect example of how I look at hustling versus investing, right? Because
right,
what they did was they were building a great little nucleus there when they had Tobias Harris and those guys, right? But they
right,
understood that, yo, Tobias Harris don't put asses in the seats,
Right.
right?
exactly.
He's a
So they
great
got, so
player.
they got Blake Griffin.
So they got rid of that
Right.
investment for a hustle. Somebody who ain't made you no better as a team, but
Hmm.
he put butts
That's
in
the
the seat.
name.
So like you mortgaged your future for a short-term spike in sales because yo, we just opened this Little Caesars arena. It's
Because
brand
now we
new,
got a superstar.
and
Right,
we
right,
have
right.
to
Yeah.
right, and we have to hustle. We need a ass in the seat tomorrow. We can't just keep building and be an eighth seed and a ninth seed. So it's like they took that short-term approach,
Yep.
and now they're paying the cost because now here you are 3 years later in the exact same spot you
That
were
you
in,
before.
and now
Yeah.
Right.
Blake is older. He's not even exciting anymore. Like just like we go to, I went to high school with dudes who were selling dubs. Graduated high school in '02. You still selling dubs? Like,
Yeah.
bro, like it gets to a point when because you can't invest that real. And
Right.
it's like the number one thing that I see us as black people dealing with is we're trying to create a business while simultaneously trying to live off of the profits.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
doesn't
And
work.
it's like, how do you
Yeah.
teach or how do you instill that, which is what I'm trying to do. And I hope it'll work with my daughter, teaching her that, yo, we build early so you can live off the profits later.
Later.
When
Right.
that $100 come in and she want to run to the and grab an American doll, like, nah, we got to buy more pancake mix. We got to
Yeah.
buy more eggs, more this and that. What happened if we buy all this stuff and then sales are low and now this milk is spoiled? We got to pour this out and buy more milk and stuff like. So I'm trying to teach that, but for adults, how do you teach that? Because so many, I want to start a business. I'm gonna start a nail salon, a hair salon, and then if they don't get enough customers in 3 months, they shutting down.
Hmm.
Like they ain't had a chance to do a radio run, no radio press, none of that Comcast spotlight press. They ain't had the time to put flyers out and build up at all these little fairs and
Yeah.
everything that's going
But
on. Like,
you know what's crazy is because
God first.
most of us don't go out and first before we start the business. We have the great idea, but we don't develop the plan associated with the great idea. So
facts.
having a
Right.
business plan that has the financial piece, what's your, how much you're going to invest initially, what your burn rates are going to be as far as, expenses and stuff, and having all that in a document and using it as your operating document would stop a lot of, but most of us don't want to invest money in going to get a business plan done. We just start the business. We get the money and start the business instead of putting together the structure, man, because the structure will enforce a lot of that. You know, if you know that in your business plan it says that you're going to pay your taxes quarterly, you know, you already know you ain't going to spend nothing because you got to pay your taxes quarterly because it says it in your business plan. Right. But if you don't have a business plan, you like quarterly taxes, shit, I'm keep pocketing this money.
Right, exactly. You're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. There is no direction. You have to have a direction. And that's what I did when I started my little in-home salon. I sat down, I took a 1 year of accounting, and I took that 1 year of accounting knowledge and I applied it to that. But that's exactly what I did. I sat down and I looked at how much money I had, how much it was going to cost to start with, you know, making my own station, the house bills, the products I need, all of that. And then I sat there and I just shopped around, took my time, did the research. And then once I was sure and I was ready, that's when I started making moves. People just want to, like we said, fly by the seat of their pants. Just take your time, make a plan, and then attack that plan.
Well, see, I kind of had like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I had an advantage because my sister is an accountant. She went to Grand Valley State, graduated with a degree in accounting.
Did not know that. Good to know.
Right. So I was always on punishment. And what it left me with was I ran out of books to read and shit, so I started reading the accounting books because I was bored. Like, so
like my son, that's what he does. Start reading
like
my books and get bored.
If I get bored, like my mom used to take everything from me but books. And let's see, who was it? Like, okay, I ain't had TV, no phone, nothing. All I had was books. So I would just be reading like Encyclopedia Britannica, fucking college level and shit, and I was like 11 or 12. So
Same here.
Yeah, that sounds just like my D.
Yeah, so it's like
crazy
I was
for
doing
me.
like
I knew voluntary.
I knew how to file taxes when I was like 14.
Yeah, young age. So but what's crazy for me, I grew up in a home where my mom, she was a single mom, and she had her own business. It was called River of Life Creations, and she made handmade dolls and made clothes and alterations. And we would see her go to the Shrine of the Black Madonna or down to the Renaissance Center. She would be in all these different shops. But and we would see her making money in her product everywhere. But she never took the time to explain to us what it meant and why she was doing it. So I feel like, I'm 33 years old now, and I'm just now learning things that I feel like I could have had the advantage on had I had that education as a kid. And, like Terrence said, that's why, I tell my kids what I tell them. I try to teach them what they need to know, and just, I had to stop talking and put the action behind it and let them see the work that goes with the words.
Right.
That's what a lot of us have to do.
So let me ask, what should or what are some key components that a successful business plan should include? Because a lot of people, I get this money, I get this product, and I'm going to sell it. And that's my business plan.
Right.
Like, okay, so but speaking with people who actually understand, what are some things that you should make sure that are included in that business plan to avoid a lot of these unnecessary pitfalls?
And number one is mission statement, right? It's like without the mission statement, people try to get to the financials, they try to get to the marketing strategy, right? But without the mission statement, you have nothing to rein you in and guide you. Because this is what's crazy about when you get a business bubbling, right? Tons of opportunities come, and any one of those opportunities can skew you off your path. And then next thing you know, you started out, I'm gonna bake cookies, and next thing you know, you're doing pizza.
Right.
I mean, it's like, so the mission statement is number one. Number two is the financials. Having a financial plan, a 5-year financial plan that shows the investment, the infusion of investment capital, what your expenses are going to be. It shows what your burn rates will be every single year for the funding. It shows, when you'll actually be in the black, when you'll actually be profitable. And to me, I feel like those are the two main things. Probably the third thing would be the strategy, understanding what your competitors look like. Because who knows, once you do the competitive analysis, you might have the money, you might have the mission statement, but when you look at the competitive analysis, there may not be that much of a market there for you to even be in. And some people don't even look at that. When you do your market analysis and you find
you gotta know your demographic.
Yeah, you got to know it. You got 3 different companies in the same market as you. And, there's only one company that's leading. The other 2 companies are suffering. There may not be enough of a market there for you to get started. And if you can't take market share from the top company, then that may not be a business that you want to get in. So, and for record labels especially, there's so many record labels now, man. And
Duration.
yeah, it's way oversaturation. So for us, the
gas station.
Market analysis was huge for us to figure out whether or not we should actually be in the business or not, because there's so much going on. But we carved out a niche space for ourselves. Where right now I think hip hop is centered around 2 forms of music. One is, of course, trap. Everybody's doing trap and mumble rap and stuff like that. And then the other school is just simply what I consider like actual radio rap. But what we completely forgotten about is like hip hop. West Side Guns from Buffalo that just signed to Eminem. There's a new artist by the name of Teddy Andreas from Houston, and it's more throwback to like 80s and 90s hip hop. And it's an emerging market, and there's more and more artists. There's an artist on TDE called Reason that has that same type of style. So our artists, we're focusing specifically on that undeveloped market and competing in that space, and not competing with the Migos and competing with Kendrick, in the space.
Okay, wait. Can I ask you a question? When you said undeveloped, please explain that. Because I know what you mean, but you know what I'm saying. A lot of people don't understand what that means, and they get offended. And I want you to like go ahead.
Undeveloped market. So there's markets have maturity, just like a child, right? When markets are first starting out, there may be only 2 people in that market, and there may not be a whole lot of customers associated with that market yet. So as that market emerges and grows, more customers are in that market. You understand the business more in that market. And so right now, the more traditional East Coast hip hop is not really a developed market anymore. There's an underground movement, but the last time we saw, somebody of Mobb Deep's, caliber of rap or Wu-Tang Clan, it's been a very, 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 very long time.
Really a lot. Like you left some people out, because like even with like really, as far as like bars and everything was like put together, like Tupac, Corrupt, all of them. Like there's a lot of these motherfuckers, like Hieroglyphics, all of them. They was West Coast, but
like Hieroglyphics is a great example, definitely. And there's a movement right now happening that's bringing that type of hip hop back in the younger community right now. And it all started with this movement called Team Backpack. And YB Corday, I don't know if you guys heard of him. He's the first one to kind of emerge out of that underground hip hop movement, and you're gonna see more start to happen.
Okay, yeah, his album was dope as fuck.
Right.
That shit
All right,
hot, man.
I get the direction you going with that. So what made you pay attention to the fact? Because this is what people need to understand. Okay, what made you pay attention to the trend that was going that way? You see what I'm saying? Like what made you pay attention?
You just got to be looking for trends. I mean, I'm always looking for trends. That's just what I do. I'm always online. I own a tech company as well, and I'm always just online. I'm always online, and I'm always looking for what's next, what's going to be next. And what?
Okay, so like, I'm saying,
I don't want to be.
Wait 1 second. We
I think
have
what
our
I'm really
final guest.
asking is like,
Finally, we've been calling him for like an hour.
I think what I'm
Crystal,
really asking is
Audio and video setting. Yeah.
huh?
what led you to that trend to pay
Oh, it
attention?
says on 24%.
I don't know, man. Just I don't know. Always being on the internet, man.
Yeah.
Every morning, what I do is I
I
wake
mean,
up and I
sometimes
check
that
three
acts up.
things. I
I
check
think I go
sports,
in
I check
settings and
tech,
turn it
and I check music
Settings.
to see what's new, to see what's new online. So I do that every single morning religiously.
Yeah, I'm
Wait,
like,
wait,
then she
bro.
dropped.
What's all
Oh, it's gonna come.
that?
Wait, hold
I
on. I'm
hope I don't
sorry.
close it out.
Hello? Hold
Oh,
on,
sometimes it
guys.
right click.
Hello?
Yeah, like
We're
somebody
having
Then acting
technical
up.
difficulties. What's breathing? Hello?
yeah, what's all that?
Somebody sound like Darth Vader.
Right, like
Yeah.
somebody.
The.
Yeah, someone else is supposed to be on the call.
Okay, so I'm going to try back in a second. 1 minute.
Like, no, look, he was over there. He was kicking some real shit, and then all I hear was.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck
We're gonna
going
try
on?
again in a moment. In just a moment.
All right.
Man, I lost my question. I had a
I don't
question.
even remember what the fuck
I,
I asked
I got a
you,
question
Kyle.
for you, if you don't
Let
mind.
me see.
So you said something that kind of stood out to me because I
Oh.
talk with a lot of people who are looking to invest in different businesses, younger people. I mentor younger kids or whatever, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to get them more so along on that entrepreneurial mind state. And one of the things I hear all the time as they're kicking out ideas, man, they already doing that, or somebody's already doing that, or that idea is already taken, or somebody. And then I just heard you say that,
Mhm.
yo, I understand that the record label market is completely oversaturated.
Right.
Understood. Everybody's looking for a major and all this and all that. But yet I found a way to create a lane for myself within that
Mhm.
oversaturation that I felt would be profitable and opportunistic for me. So
Yep.
can you talk a little bit about the fears and the concerns of going into an oversaturated market, investing your own capital if you are?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing, any market, right? Whether it's tech, music, medical, whatever, right? You got to the fear always comes from the unknown. So you got to be doing your research. You got to like
Right.
live this shit. Like I said, every morning I wake up, I look at the same thing, three things every single morning. Every single morning. Entertainment, sports, music.
Uh-huh.
Every single morning. And I like go through and I read through all the blogs and look at all the news feeds. I stay on Facebook feeds and stuff. You just go through all the news for about an hour every single day so that you to stay on the cusp of what's happening. So
Right.
that kind of allays my fears because I've already read every single day for the past 3 months about a particular subject. And then the way that you go about picking in a saturated market is you got to look depending on how big the market is. Fortunately, music is a huge market. So
Right.
yes, it is saturated, but when you take a look at hip hop and the number of genres within hip hop, the subgenres, there's a
Mhm.
lot of subgenres that aren't saturated. Only, like I said, mumble rap and radio rap is saturated. But there's with independent labels now, man. Shoot, people are making. You guys know who Russ is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Russ, man,
Yeah.
Russ carved his own lane out quietly.
Russ,
Yeah, he
Russ
carved
actually fuck. Like
this
I
kid
actually
came
like
out of
Russ.
nowhere. He carved his own lane out quietly amongst the bigs and the small artists, and he's making millions of dollars independently, dropping his own type of music. And it's like, with you can find it. You just gotta dig, and Russ dug for years, and I think that's another thing. Is not giving up, right? But just because the market is saturated, you got to keep watching it, and
I kind of I kind of see it this way. Like I'm educated with like as far as music business is concerned, Um, like, and I'm not just gonna say music business. I'm gonna say hip hop in general. It's like, okay, well, you were 30, 35, you aged past fucking hip hop. Hip hop was here before most of you motherfuckers was born.
There you go.
Right.
You feel me? So it's like, at some point, you have to realize that, okay, if I'm 35 or 40, then I need to make music for 25 to 35 age motherfuckers. I can't turn around and make, and this is actually a business move on some real shit. Think about it. If I'm gonna run around like I'm 35, right? What the fuck I look like rapping like a motherfucking 20-year-old? You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
I have to fuck around and appeal to the people that I deal with. I can't turn around and make like no
I got
fucking
25.
real music.
Right. Right.
But I don't
Fit.
know.
And
The
I
audio
think
set.
that's
Go
yeah,
back to
that's
where I mute. Maybe it's
yeah, this isn't
But
gonna
that
work
too
either.
much background
let me
happening.
go by.
That was
What the
that
fuck am
was
I
not
hearing?
gonna work. Oh well, I
Okay.
tried. I tried and I failed.
I got
Man,
one
But
more
yeah, I
question.
think
Then I think
something.
I'm
we
done
got
with the
like
question.
5 minutes left anyway, so
Yeah, yeah.
But
So I
that's
got
what
a
I'm saying.
question
Like,
for
see,
you
I
guys.
keep saying, listen, this is the problem. Like, see, you have, it's funny because you have like 20-year-olds that will tell a 35-year-old that he too old to rap and that 35-year-old to listen.
right.
Yeah.
But that 35-year-old is looking at somebody that's like 50 or damn near 60 that they grew up listening to and they were influenced by that taught them something. Like
Mhm.
we came up in the era of conscious rap beginning, right? Or am I wrong?
No, no,
We
no, no, no. You're right. You're definitely right.
Yeah,
we
that's
came up.
crazy.
We came
Yeah.
up when conscious rap was happening. So
Mhm.
at this point in our lives,
I don't
okay,
know.
you I should look at mumble rap like it ain't shit,
Yeah.
right?
In person
No,
concert.
mumble rap
What
fire,
the
dog. You
fuck?
tripping?
I
No,
mean,
yeah.
some
That's
of it.
the
Hey man,
ad libs,
hey,
Listen,
it's
listen,
Yeah.
don't
definitely
get me
mumble
the
wrong.
rap.
Some of
background
it,
sound
I,
effect.
I'm not a
They
fan.
get you.
But
But
no, wait. No, I'm not saying that mumble rap is nothing to listen to. I'm
yeah.
saying like, okay, I like mumble rap,
Yeah.
even though necessarily it's like I don't necessarily understand what the fuck they saying, but I'll be over there bopping. You know what I'm
Shit,
I
saying?
them
ain't
beers
saying either.
you a mumble rapper yourself, my dude. You know?
Half the time, shit. So it's like, it,
But you
it,
making a great point though, which
you know
kind
what
of
I'm saying?
makes
It's like, okay, we grew up in that Black Power area. Like, okay,
Mhm.
like I was born
Right.
in '84. So when I was growing up, we had X Clan, we had Public Enemy, we had Pac, we had Tribe Called Quest. Every now and then they'd say some shit. We had a bunch of motherfuckers, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Conscious daughters.
Uh,
There was a lot of people, man.
right. So we look at shit different, obviously, because we grew up in a different era. Like not area, but a different era. Like it's not that I look at like mumble rap like it's bullshit. Like I mean, sometimes I'll be sitting there listening, like, damn, that's some good shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't just look at everything like it's trash, but it's like, okay, you can't just call motherfuckers legends every fucking moment that somebody make a good song.
We go. Oh, see, we should have
Every
got it.
time.
Hold on, we should have got
Yeah.
it to this earlier. We should have got it
hold
to this
on one second, real quick.
earlier.
Before I get into that, I got one more question about the business aspect.
Right.
That kind of reeling it back to the because I'm purposely being quiet on that tip because I can sit around and get to talking hip hop for hours, and I know that ain't what we're here to do. So I've been purposely
Right.
biting my tongue. But the point you're
Mhm.
making is leading into a great business question. So I'm gonna ask the question, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm asking it, as it pertains to what we're talking about. So for all of you guys, if you could kind of chime in and answer, do you think it's financially beneficial to invest in businesses that you are emotionally attached to? And the reason why I'm asking that is because, like, to use the example, we talking about hip hop, right? The hip hop that you may love or that you may want to make may not be the most profitable hip hop to make at that time. If you're a hairstylist, the hairstylist that you're good at doing may not be what the wave is right now and what is going to make you the most money. And then I hear people on the other end say you should always invest in what you love because it's your passion. You're always going to put in 110%. But if you're putting in 110%, but only getting paid 50%, then that other 60% is just being gone to waste. So it's like when it comes to investing in
I want to
business,
answer first.
should
if I can.
you
Go ahead.
invest in something that you're passionate about, or should you not invest in something that you're passionate about?
So I wanted to make this point, and I've been trying to reel it back too, but they just went on. But they're not in a bad way either.
No,
say that.
that conversation is actually dope.
But that's why I stop it. But I wanted to make a point. Our guest, he's saying a lot of things that I've noticed no one else has caught. He doesn't just produce music. He doesn't just write music. How many different businesses did this one man and his wife say he had? How many different businesses?
Like at least 4.
I kind of lost count after like the first 3.
I mean, the fact of this, like, wait. Once again, wait.
Yes, you can invest in what you love to do. Your passion is what drives you, but you also have to find other things to invest in as well. So you can, if you have to, fund that passion.
People like to do stupid shit, like go to such and such a timestamp, right? Okay, so if they come to this timestamp, sir, go ahead. What's your taglines? Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever y'all got going. Go ahead, promote your shit here. We here for you, bro. The whole point of black business is to support each other. Because don't nobody else support us, and that's just pretty what it comes down to. That's just like you got stupid motherfuckers coming across on my guy Facebook, feeling they in their feelings because of some shit I said like 3 weeks ago. It's hilarious.
Right.
But shit, fuck all that shit. We talk about you building your fan base and your clientele to get your business moving. That's what the
Yeah.
Lord says.
Yeah. I tell people, I tell my kids all the time, yeah, it's okay to be able to sell a product. It's okay to be able to sell a service. But the most important thing you have to be able to sell is yourself. People buy that product because of you. People get that service because of you. Customer service is number one. So it always, in the end, starts with you.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
That's my final thought.
Well, hey, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Think that.
All right, go ahead, shoot.
No, I said I think that about sums it up.
Okay, see, this is okay.
We make or break our own situations, especially with our thoughts and the fact that we share stuff before we should. I feel like also, and that's where people are allowed to kill our dreams because we speak too prematurely on our ideals, and people snake us, and then they get it off, and now we're bitter. But you should have never said nothing in the first place.
Any other final thoughts on the line this evening?
No, I just want to say I appreciate you guys having me on here, man. This was I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. It's dope.
Yay, thanks. It was a pleasure.
A lot of good information, a lot of good lessons learned. Oh, also, just to put it out there, we're also going to have.
Wow. Yeah. On that note, I might have to fill an ad on that.
Welcome to FrontRunnaz.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Oh, well.
That was our other guest. Oh my
awkward part of them not.
Exactly.
Malone.
Hold on. I also next month we're having an episode. There's no such thing as a free lunch. I want to talk economics, black economics as well, and try to dig a little bit deeper. There are a lot of topics we didn't touch on that I wanted to touch on, but I feel like we got what we needed to get out of this conversation. But certainly look for that. And also something I did want to still bring up this episode. When you have a home-based business and you have children, you get bigger tax cuts than if you were to say work a full-time job all year and file a W-2 versus filing that business tax return and claiming your child as an employee. I believe you get a $20,000 deduction. I'm going to end the show right there. Look into that, people. Good night.
But we've been hearing a whole lot of talk, man.